Hi, today we're looking at Aquarium, a fun little logic puzzle. It shares some similarities with thermometers, but this puzzle takes into account fluid dynamics, more specifically how water and gravity interact. So we're playing on this square grid, and each of these regions here represents an aquarium, and the objective is to fill these aquariums with water in such a way that the number of filled cells correspond to these numbers on the side and on the bottom. The side numbers tell you how many cells need to be filled in each row, and the bottom numbers how many cells in each column. When we're playing this puzzle, it helps to think about how water flows naturally. So if we imagine that we have a big bucket of water at the top and we're pouring it into the aquarium, it's going to naturally flow downwards and fill up the cells like that, which means that when we start to fill up cells, we can fill all adjacent cells like that. So both the cells together, but we couldn't fill, for example, just one cell like that, because obviously the water, wanting to find its own level, is going to flow into the adjoining cells. And the other thing to take into account is that we couldn't, for example, just fill these cells up here because there's nothing other here to support the water. So we'd have to fill all the cells below. Now we know what the objective is, let's have a look at how we can solve the puzzle. And the first thing to do is to start eliminating some cells where we know that water cannot go. It's going to help us to solve the puzzle. And to do that, we can look at some of these numbers up the side and see if any of them are smaller than any of the regions in the row. So, for example, if we take this number 2 and we look at this region of cells here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cells together. We can't put water into 6 because obviously that's more than 2, and we can't fill just 2 of these. It's all of them or nothing. So we know that we can't fill those cells. We can eliminate them. And if we're eliminating those cells, we can also eliminate all these cells that come above them. They couldn't have water in because the water would just be suspended in midair. Now we could have the same thing here with this 3, this region here, but we've already eliminated those, so we don't need to worry about that. That's taking care of eliminating regions that are larger than the clue numbers. And we've reached the top of the puzzle. You can get this number 7. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cells together here, and the 7's here. So we know that we could not fill those 2 cells. We have to fill the others to reach our clue number 7. So we can do that straight away. There are various ways of approaching a puzzle like this. This is only a simple one-style puzzle. It's enough of a challenge to demonstrate some of the techniques that are commonly used in solving aquarium puzzles. And one of the techniques that's very common is to look at knock-on effects or ramifications of what we've just done. So having filled in all of these cells up here, we can now look down the columns to see if that's had any effect on those columns. And straight away, we can see that this column requires 2 filled cells. We've filled 1 up here. And with the others that are eliminated, that means that we need to put water into this cell down here. And that means we've completed that column. Similarly, as we work along, we can look at this number 7 here. We've already filled 1, 2 cells there. In order to be able to fill 7, we're going to have to fill these cells as well. It's the only way we're going to have enough water to reach our goal of 7. And if we're filling those, our water is going to flow into here. It's also going to flow across here, which means it's going to come down here. I'm going to turn my attention to this number 8 back at the bottom. We've already got 1 cell filled. And to have any chance of reaching 8 cells, we're going to have to fill these 4 in and these 2 as well. It doesn't get us all the way to our goal, but it does fill up some more cells. And more importantly, it means that we finish this column because we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that is complete, and we can mark that. Again, there are a few places we could look at next, or I'm looking at, for example, this number 3. We already have one cell filled here. We can't therefore use these 3 together, so we can eliminate those. I'm also looking at this number 6. We've got 1, 2, and we know we're going to have to fill these 3 in to get to our 6 because we don't have enough cells left over otherwise. Having filled those 3 in, that gives us down here on this 3, 1, 2, 3, means that 3 is complete, and we can eliminate. He has the cells, and if we're eliminating that one, we cannot eliminate that one. Back down the bottom, I'll look at this number 8. Again, larger numbers tend to be fairly easy to solve because you either have to use a large proportion as a column. Well, here we're looking for 8. We've got 1, 2 cells filled up here. We're going to have to fit in 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. That's solved. That also solves this 3. 1, 2, 3. That's done. And we can solve this 3 as well, because we've got 1, 2. So we must fill in this cell here, completing this 3. And then I look at this number 2 down here. We've already got 1 here. We can't use these 2 cells because that would be too much water. And we can't use these 2. And in fact, I'm just noticing that we've already completed this column with 1, 2 cells there, which means that we could eliminate all the other there, which allows us then to complete the 6 by filling in this cell here. And they've already completed this 3, 1, 2, 3, which means we can cross these out. We've already completed this 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, which means we can cross this out, which then allows us to solve this 3 because there's only 1 cell remaining up here. Number 3 is done. And we've completed the 5 as well because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're almost done. We have this 5 at the bottom, which we can solve by filling in that cell. Same with this 5 here. And fill this in, which completes 5, and it also takes care of that too. And we finish that too. So that's it. We finished the puzzle. As I say, this is a simple puzzle. They get much bigger and considerably harder with fewer clue numbers. Some harder level puzzles will have missing clue numbers and on the side or the bottom, but it makes it all the more fun.
Hello, I'm Auntie. Don't forget you can get our Puzzle Weekly magazine delivered to you every Monday completely free. Visit the link to get your copy.